cell, a complicated jumble of organelles moving freely to keep your body healthy. But how does the cell work?
The cell functions similar to a city. Let's use Chicago as an example. When you arrive in Chicago, there's a huge sign that reads,
"Welcome to Chicago." This could roughly be compared to the plasma membrane, which welcomes new materials into the cell or rejects materials that can be harmful.
The cytoplasm that fills the cell is like the air filling the city.
The City Hall in Chicago is just like the nucleus. It provides information and helps citizens. Similarly, the nuclear membrane and nucleolus would be the walls of the building and whoever is working in the building.
Just like the City Hall, the nucleus holds all the information in the cell and contains a sort of instruction manual for DNA.
Speaking of, DNA in the cell is kind of like people in the city. The DNA is what makes the cell unique, and the people are what make the city of Chicago what it is.
Cilia and flagella are used for transport, so they could be compared to the various modes of transport that people in the city use.
Cars, buses, bikes, and the like, all can be compared to the cilia and flagella of the cell.
The mitochondria in the city would be the major government figures, the people who really make the city run.
These major governmental figures in the city are just as important to the city as the mitochondria. Without the mitochondria, the cell wouldn't be able to run itself, and without the government, we would most likely descend into chaos. The smooth and rough endoplasmic reticula are the post office and the mail carriers.
The smooth endoplasmic reticulum sends out proteins like a post office, and the rough endoplasmic reticulum collects and sends proteins much like a mailman. The cell's vacuole can, sadly, be compared to Lake Michigan.
The lake, much like the vacuole, holds water, nutrients, and regrettably waste. The lysosomes in the cell are similar to a recycling plant in the city.
Like the lysosomes break down molecules, the recycling plant breaks down materials and waste. The ribosomes synthesize or create proteins needed for the cell to function. These organelles can be compared to any factory that is in Chicago. They create items for other companies and people, our city's organelles, to use.
The Golgi apparatus is similar to the underground pipe and sewer system in the city. It is used to transport proteins just like the pipes underground are used to transport necessary material and waste.
The cytoskeleton can be compared to the roads in the city. They create the structure of the city and enable transportation, similarly to the cytoskeleton.
Finally, centrioles can be compared to policemen and firefighters because they organize microtubes, much like how policemen and firefighters keep the organization in the city and on the streets. The Golgi apparatus The Golgi apparatus is similar to the underground pipe and sewer system. The Golgi apparatus is similar to the underground pipe and sewer system in the city. It is
Similarly too.